Utah's best coverage of the Utes, Cougars, Jazz, and Mammoth. Here we go. From the guys who have been there for all the biggest moments in Utah sports history. You're listening to DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time to welcome Pablo Mastroeni back to the show. He's had a little break during the World Cup, but RSL's back at it Wednesday. They've got a little tune-up game before they jump back into league play. Pablo, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Pablo, before we get to your team, it has been a World Cup break here, and I know you played in the World Cup, and you're emotionally invested in the team, and that had to be a big old kick in the teeth. Not just that they lost. I mean, they were always going to lose at some point, but they didn't go out battling the way Mexico did. They didn't go out scrapping and fighting the way Egypt did. Those two lost with dignity, and they entertained us while they lost. And sometimes when you battle like that, you're like Switzerland, and you get the penalties, and you win and you advance. Instead, they got drilled. And I'm thinking that everyone's worried about the third goal, which was a whole horrendous goalkeeping mistake. But when that first goal drops between three U.S. players, the ball drops and no one reacts, and one other guy steps up and crosses it in front and it's a tap-in, I'm thinking you lost your mind, because I've heard you talk about goals like that, and they kill you.
Yeah. I think that first goal kind of encapsulates the way the whole game went, which was on both sides of the ball, we were like one step behind, and again, I think there's moments in games that kind of highlight where your mentality is, right? And you saw three guys not going for the ball in that one play, but you had one Belgian guy that was daring and brave enough to step through. And it kind of like that moment, I think that player for Belgium really set the tone from a mentality perspective as to how we're going to be on the front foot. And the three U.S. players kind of looking up in the air and thinking the other guy was going to do it kind of is metaphorically saying, I'm not going to take responsibility for this. You do it, you do it, you do it. And I think that was kind of the disappointing part of the game, and I think the other part too is, and we talked about this a little bit, all three host countries, they got great draws as far as their group play. And to be fair, the one game where U.S. was going to always be tested was going to be Turkey. And then they played a different group. And so there wasn't a whole lot to extrapolate from the group play as to when they encounter a really good team, right? And then Bosnia, obviously a team that squeaked into the World Cup. That was a good draw for the U.S. as well. And I think all three games that the U.S. won, they played a certain way, and they forced our opponents to play a certain way. When you get to the tougher stages, you're not going to dictate to Argentina, to Brazil, to the big clubs, the big countries. They have a style of play that you have to also be aware of. And so I think we caught Belgium on a day where they were motivated, and obviously the Balogun situation, I think, added fire to their belief. And they had something bigger to play for. And, I think the U.S. just started the game off in a really kind of doubtful way, and it permeated through the rest of the 90 minutes. And I think that's where you're saying, we kind of fell flat. And so it's a tough way to go out. I think there's a ton of bright spots that, after the emotional pain kind of subsides, there's a lot of really bright spots for the U.S. national team, some individual players, and really the direction that we need to move in to continue to be a really good World Cup team.
So you say you started the game in a doubtful way, and that jumps out to me. So that sounds like if a team does that, it's basically the situation could be where they're beat before they even start. So how do you get that, even if you have to trick yourself that you're not in that doubtful way and you're dealing it from a position of confidence?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think the easiest way to do that, I think, is it's not going to be with the ball. It's going to be against the ball, because I think that moment, I think what oftentimes ignites a team is a great defensive tackle, is something that's questionable, where the ref is maybe giving a yellow card to you because you were really, really aggressive. And now it kind of revs the engines up a little bit, like it heightens your senses. And I just felt like too often from a defensive standpoint, we were either, pressing when we shouldn't have been, or we were kind of caught in between players, and it was Belgium, and to be fair, Belgium did a great job where they knew that the U.S. wanted to press. So Belgium would bait them all the way back to their goalkeeper. They'd move their whole lines forward. And then Belgium said, we're not going to fall for this. We're going to go over your back line. And there hadn't been a team in the World Cup that had threatened the back line. And now you see a player like Tim Ream, who, again, had a fantastic World Cup. But when you're up against speedsters that also have great quality and balls in behind, and you're running now back to your goal to defend, it's asking a lot of questions. So I would say how you get back into it is a moment where the fan base gets involved, right? Whether it's a great attacking play and, the guys are throwing their arms up in the air like follow us, or it's a great defensive play where as a group you're saying, this is the moment, this is where we put our flag in the ground. This is it. You're coming to here, and then from there on, you're going to get bit. You're going to get, you're going to catch a foot. But there wasn't really a moment of that could change the game at any point. And I think that's why we kind of went along with the momentum that Belgium was playing at.
Okay, so a story, a problem, and then I'll ask you for the answer. The story is a hilarious Brian Dunce's story, which he tells much better than I'm about to. But he talks about how when he was a kid and these youth national setups and that kind of deal, they'd all do the training and watch the film, and it was really hard work and the hardest thing they'd ever been up against, right? And then they finally have time to kind of bond as a group and go to the mall or whatever. And they'd be walking out, and there'd be one kind of weird kid in the group who was over there juggling or doing some little drill with cones or whatever. He says, yeah, that weird kid, he grew up to be Landon Donovan and score like 57 goals for the U.S. national team. And Dunny would laugh like, yeah, we all missed the boat. It was the million touches that he got that we didn't that made him special, and we weren't. And I hear people talk about the U.S. will be good in soccer when they have the best athletes. But I think it's about getting the bazillion touches so you can make the ball do whatever you want. That goal Mbappe scored in the quarterfinal, he couldn't see the goal. The defender was there. He bends the ball around the defender and hits the post, and it goes in. And he knew it. He was celebrating before it happened because he's had those million touches as a kid. We have 30 academies now where anybody can play for free, but mostly it's pay for play. Until we have 300 academies. I know it's a nation of 350 million people, but we're not really scouring 350 million people for 11 soccer players. I mean, right. We're not. So is there another path, or do there have to be? I don't know that there was an academy anywhere near Thunderbird High for you and PK. You somehow made it through, but I mean, doesn't it have to be an academy on the west side of Phoenix, on the east side, and not just one, halfway between Tucson and Phoenix out in the middle of nowhere in Casa Grande?
No, that's actually a great question, and I can actually answer it from a personal perspective, and really interesting. So I had a club coach. His name was Luis Dabo, and he came from. He was born in Guinea-Bissau, played professionally in Portugal, played at a really, really high level. Then he got into coaching in indoor soccer and the MISL, and then he ended up in Arizona coaching youth soccer. And he had a philosophy that was way ahead of its time, and he took a lot of the Portuguese philosophy for developing young players, which is exactly what you're talking about, which is touches. So every day for the first hour of training, we had a 2-hour training session Monday through Thursday as kids. The first hour was you and your ball. And so it was left foot, right foot. It was trapping. It was kicking the ball up in the air to yourself, bringing it down, trapping, changing your speed. And then we got into passing, and then it was like two guys, one ball, creating movements, and you had to do this all within the center circle of a soccer field, right? So it's not the biggest space, and there could be up to like 40 people in there at any one time. And so you're working your passing technique, you're working your dribbling technique for the first hour inside that circle. As kids, it was the most boring, mundane. It was the worst. It was the worst. Right? Because we all want to shoot. We all want to play. We don't really want to work on our technique. But he did it. And the amount of kids that would leave the club is incredible. They said, no, we're going to this other club. And they'd go to the other club. But what was amazing, within 1 year, they would always be back. And the whole thing was because our team started we weren't good when we were young, but as we got to 15, we got to 16, we got to 17, we ended up going to the national tournament, and I think we finished second in nationals as an under 17 youth team. And it wasn't because tactically we were astute. As a matter of fact, he never coached tactics. The only thing he'd coach is individual one-on-ones, individual technique. And that made, and I think from our club team, we sent, I think, 12 players to Division I schools across the country. And this is 1994, right? And it didn't matter what position you played, because if you can control the ball, if you understood where to pass the ball, if you understood how to manipulate this thing, the college coach could say, we need a left back, or we need a midfielder, or we need a winger. It didn't matter. We were all capable of doing that. And so I think what you're explaining, what you're talking about, is exactly the philosophy of the youth coach I had. But the problem with that is he didn't care about winning games. And now when people pay to play, they care about winning, right? The parents live vicariously through their kids, and they say they want to be able to go to the barbecue at the weekend and be like, oh, we won 4-0. And it's not like Travis won 4-0. It's we won 4-0, you know? And so I think it's a huge cultural thing where, and now this generation of parents are super involved, where back when I was growing up, my parents would drop me off at soccer and that was it. Or I got a ride with someone to soccer, or I went with another family to tournaments. It's not like that anymore. And so the involvement of the parents, I think, is a big, big issue with that. And the other part too is, if you pay, you want to win. And that's winning at a young age is synonymous with my money's worth it. It's not about developing young players. And then the other part to this, and sorry, this is so long-winded, but the coaching piece is every coach at the youth level wants to be a Premier League coach. So the first thing they're coaching is tactics. How do we beat this under 18? Because they're going to be a swarm of bees in the middle of the field. So how do we align ourselves, along the outside and make them run and then attack the goal, right? It's not. So my point is that the most important thing is the story about Landon, which is 1 million touches. And the environment and the culture that exists today in soccer in America doesn't provide 1 million touches. And so unless you're going to be the odd guy that's out there juggling on your own when everyone else is going to the mall, it's going to be very hard to get to that level. And so, but I think, so I don't know what the answer is, DJ, but I hear you. I lived it. And it was one of the reasons why I was able to move on in my career, because I played 1 million different positions. But one thing I always had was a good control of the ball and a good understanding of how to manipulate it.
Well, that was deep, Pablo. So here I come. Do you think the U.S. coach looked like Russell Crowe, like I did?
Yeah, I thought so too. That's what we call him, the Argentinian Russell Crowe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was calling him. And he wore the same costume every game, which was pretty. He played the part every game. I
did tell my wife at one point, he looks like a high school art teacher. He looks like he should. Ceramics on Tuesday, kids.
And then he turned into Russell Crowe when he kicked the water bottles. That was the action part.
Yeah, excellent. All right, well, the World Cup will go on without the United States here. It'll be over soon, and Major League Soccer will be back at it. You've got a game Wednesday with Burnley, a little tune-up game here to get you going. And I think that the challenge in front of you, and you know this well, I won't recount all the numbers. Last year, after the League's Cup break, the team had been playing really well, and then they lost 5 out of 6. And I won't recount all the numbers going back, but that's not the first summer that's happened where you were flying spring, early summer, you have a break, and you never recapture the magic. So I know you know all those numbers, and you probably know them better than I do, and I'm sure you're trying something different this year so the team keeps playing the way it was, because, again, you were having a really good run. What are you doing so this doesn't happen again?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I think, I think we have a good snapshot of the first third of the season where we're able to now go, these are the things that we're doing well. These are the areas we struggled in, and we talked about it. Set pieces has been an area. We revamped our defensive set piece setup. So that's been, and we put it on display at this a couple days ago in Minnesota, which was really good. The other part is one of the areas is how do we manage games? Not just, again, with leads, without leads, when it's 0-0, is like how do we manage games and create control? Where I thought a lot of the good games we played, we had a lot of great control. But then when we had the lead, it felt like we were just ceding a lot of territory and really relying on Hoffa to be the guy that solved the problems closer to our goal, which was great when it worked. But when it didn't, we gave our opponents a lot of territory. And so, again, that was something that we saw from, the last month of work here in Minnesota, which was really good. And I think those two things are really the biggest things. We've conceded close to 40% of our goals from set pieces, right? So that obviously, if the numbers are, if we didn't concede any set piece goal in the first part, we'd be 6 points ahead in the table, in the league, right? So that's an area that if we don't address, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. So, and then the control piece and continuing to think about how we can be a more fluid attacking team, continue to create great opportunities. And again, we just went to Minnesota. We put 4 in the back of the net in 4. We played 3 45-minute periods. So that part's good. So there's a lot of things that are the work is kind of showing through, but I think this Burnley game will be a great test for us. Obviously, a team that's has been playing at a much higher level. Obviously, different players probably from the time they're in the Prem, but it'll be a great challenge for us and a game where we can continue to fine tune the different areas of the game that we're working on.
During this past few weeks and so forth, what was required of the guys in terms of a schedule?
Yeah, to be fair, the guys have been all in when, we gave them 3 weeks off, and then we were in, 5 days a week and usually gave the guys 2 days off. But again, I think it was just being really deliberate of like, do we want to be a top team in this league? And if it is, then there's no substitute for working hard and being deliberate about the work that you're doing. And the guys have been all in, and we've made the sessions to where it's not the tactics are actually a part of the exercise. It's kind of built in. And then we've been doing video sessions to recap, and the guys have been all in. And the one thing I would say, PK, is you never know how guys are going to come back from break, but they were all fit. They were all hungry. And again, for me, the proof is always in the game. You can talk about the environment and training and all these things, but are you seeing the things that you want in the game? Are they playing with excitement? Are they playing hard for each other? And those things were on full display a couple days ago. So I think it's been a great reset for us to identify those areas. But more importantly, the guys have just taken it on. And like I always talk about, great teams are led by the players and they're guided by the coaches. And that's what it feels like at the moment.
Burnley was in the English Premier League. They got relegated, so now they'll be in the championship here this coming season. And I've heard Garth Lagerwey has gotten involved with that club, former Real Salt Lake general manager back when they won the Cup in 2009. Have you talked much with Garth? Was he part of putting this together? What's his role with Burnley? Can you answer any of those questions, Pablo?
All I can answer is I think you're right about the Garth Lagerwey being involved. I know Jason Kreis was instrumental in making this game happen. And he's got a really good relationship with Garth. Right. So that would be a great question for Jason as to the details of how all that happened.
Yeah.
All right, here's my contribution. I'm going to read you some song lyrics.
Uh-oh.
Hey, all you Chiefs, come on and fight. We've got the team with all the might. We've got the score. We'll get some more. We'll get the victory in our sight. Hey, all you Chiefs, we are the best in all the North, South, East, and West. We are the team that runs with speed and fame, and that's why Thunderbird will win this game. That's our fight song.
The crazy thing is, I remember parts of that. That's crazy.
So I
remember.
Since you went to Thunderbird High School and PK went to Thunderbird High School and I didn't, I just have to time travel to, well, you went in different decades. I have to time travel to the different decades you were there. Basically, should I just picture myself in Minnesota listening to those fans sing Wonderwall? Was it pretty much the same thing, Pablo?
It wasn't the same thing. It was much more, it's hard to explain, DJ. One of these days, the three of us should all meet back at Thunderbird High, and there's a little mountain at the top with a big T. You know how they do those. You know, they paint the mountain.
Right over by the tennis courts.
Is that like the hill they climb at ASU football games to watch for free?
Yeah, we have
the
a
same
T
deal
right there.
Do people climb those to watch Thunderbird games for free? Is it the same deal?
They can actually walk into the little stadium.
Yeah, I was going to say there wasn't that much of a demand for tickets.
All right, Pablo.
But the baseball field was right along Thunderbird Road, and so when we were out there many times, usually just in practice because there were no fans, you'd get kids from other schools that would drive by, particularly if they're going west, so the passengers are there. You suck, you're awful. Well, we used to get that all the time.
That's good stuff.
All right. Well, thanks for the lyrics, PK. I'm now looking at Google Maps, and I can see the road that zigs right around the baseball field. PK's told me all about
Thunderbird.
it. Yeah, Thunderbird High.
Yeah.
All right, those are the days. All right, Pablo, Wednesday night, Real Salt Lake back at it at home against Burnley, and then give it another week, and you'll be off and running. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Always fun. Take care.
All right, there's Pablo Mastroeni, RSL head coach.
If we do that trip, let's make it in February or March.
I totally agree. I'm open to December and January, by the way. August, no thank you. Did Tucson in August once, and it's not even as hot as Phoenix, and it was way hotter than anything I needed. That was the longest walk from the car to my college roommate's apartment.
Well, it was plenty hot there, yeah.
It was plenty hot. All right, DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott's going to join us coming up at 9 o'clock. He believes Cleveland blew it when they re-signed Donovan Mitchell. Can't wait to talk to him about that. DJ PK will be giving away tickets to see RSL and Burnley on the other side of this break. Stick around for that. Stay with us right here on The Zone.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Over 2 decades of sports radio dominance in Utah.
My favorite.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, as promised, let's give away tickets. A 5-pack to see Real Salt Lake play Burnley from the English Championship. Caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. The game is Wednesday night, 7:30 at America First Field. You'll hear it here on The Zone. All right, PK, you spent the break talking about Pablo at Thunderbird High. I had some questions for you. It's hilarious that you two went to the same high school. And but you got fascinated with something else. What's going on over there?
Well, it made me think of home.
Sure.
So I called up the Arizona Republic and checked out the obituaries.
It's so uplifting. Well, thank you.
2 women in the same day published have the first name of Eugenia, Eugenia. Oh. How about that?
That's an old school name. I did not.
Eugenia.
I did not grow up around any Eugenias. I'm not even sure I know how to spell it.
I just spelt it for you.
I don't think I could, even though you just spelled it for me. I know you gave me the answer, and I still.
Eugenia Sucher, 75, Paradise Valley, and Eugenia Quinteros, age 64, Phoenix. And then I saw one from your wife name, and a woman 96, good long life, Allie Honey Franklin.
Honey.
Is it right there? Allie Honey Franklin.
It's not my wife's name. It's just how I refer to her on the show. It's not her name.
I thought that was her name. You
Honey?
call her Honey.
I do.
Yeah. Well, there you go, man. I always check out the obit, see if there's anybody I know. Everybody's got a story. I like stories.
I know you do.
A lot of times the obits have stories.
One constant. 25 years doing this show, PK's been reading obits to me during commercial breaks. Back to the days when Alex was, 2, 1.
I may have read his
diaper.
birth announcement. Who knows?
Yeah, in his diaper. Were you born in the year 2000 or 2001?
I was born in 99.
99.
His
Okay.
birthday's in November, so he's going to turn 27 November 6th.
Got it. Okay.
I check out my
Scorpios.
producers.
Those are the
I
best.
want to know what's going on.
Scorpios rule.
I hate all people who were born in November.
That'd be you and me, dog.
And Scotty.
Oh, Scotty G's in November also, yes.
And I hate him with a passion.
That's obvious.
Ever since he was born.
Thank you, Morgan.
Little take
A.K.A. Ford. Got to quit referring to Morgan when you've got Ford.
Ford Scalley?
Yeah.
And they were down there talking about, the extremes of the rivalry and blah, blah, blah. The extremes are never going to go away. So these guys are buddies, and BYU fans hated Whittingham. He wouldn't say BYU. He was a turncoat, blah, blah, blah. Scalley isn't like that. He's a Utah guy through and through. You can respect that. He stayed true to his school and loyal and all that stuff. But the game is still the game, and the trash talking and the trash talking, in moderation is fine. But the over-the-top stuff is ridiculous, and everybody agrees with it, but it's not going to go away.
True story.
Yeah.
I would bet anything that there will be massive trash talking here shortly. I mean, we're in summer league mode right now, and you put up a football question, you put up a basketball question, and the people voted. Overwhelmingly, people are into basketball. But that's going to be done in 2 weeks. It'll be all football, and the trash talking will commence without a doubt. And we'll all agree it's over the top, and people shouldn't post stuff anonymously. You know what will happen? Someone will anonymously post something that is over the top. It's guaranteed.
Someone will ask, someone did ask Yarmark, they're going to be some meeting to discuss the Fetch the Mormons comments. That's not going to go away.
No, it is not.
I mean, the NFL tried. They put in the back of the end zone end racism.
They did what they could.
They gave it their best shot.
It's not gonna yield the results they crave.
Nothing from that perspective will ever be eliminated.
Sadly, I believe that to be true.
Now, it could be reduced and improved, but I don't
But
even...
history says it always kind of cycles. It gets reduced and improved, but then it gets louder and nastier.
It's all up to the individuals. And then
right.
when you factor in alcohol during the games, there's going to be nasty things. And they'll continue to have alcohol. And in some places, they'll sell alcohol because they can make money. And then they'll preach to you. The people who make the money off the alcohol will preach to you proper fan behavior. But they're not really interested in proper fan behavior at the expense of their pockets.
Hey now, there's this word.
That's truth.
The P word. Profits.
Yeah.
Want our profits.
Right. And they make money off of that. If they were serious, they would not have that. But they'll tell you they're serious, but not at the expense of their money.
They could do that. They could not sell booze in the stadium.
But they won't.
They could ban booze in the parking lot before the game.
But
which,
they won't.
With tailgating can be a big deal, especially for the NFL.
They don't even do it at BYU.
See what you did there? They could take away season tickets from people. They could hire twice as many ushers, right? And they live in an era when there's cameras everywhere.
I would hire armed security.
But they're not going to take away the season tickets. They're not going to ban it in the parking lot. They're not. Nope. It's going to keep happening.
Yeah. So you will continue to have that. And as much as Ford and Kalani's got a big old first name too. It's just Kalani, I think, is at the end. If you go look at it, like Keo Kalani, then these guys, these will be the best of friends ever as head coaches.
Ooh. Will Morgan and Kalani be tighter than Mac and Lavelle?
They already are.
Really?
Whew. And then you factor in when they're both done. I think Kalani's got him by 5 years.
So when they both get to 80 and they quit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the Coach and Scotty show on Fridays with former coaches Kalani Sitake and Morgan Ford Scalley.
It'll be a podcast by then, PK. Radio will be dead.
Oh, it won't.
Okay.
It will not be dead. It will still be there. And because there'll still be cars. And, yeah, this is the tightest rivalry coach connection in the history of BYU Utah.
Because they actually worked together in a film room late at night, breaking down tape.
Same side of the ball.
The bonds that were built. Yeah, both defensive coaches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Morgan would have been the safeties coach, I guess, at that point when Kalani was defensive coordinator.
Yeah. So, yeah. They're tighter than Kalani was with Kyle because Kyle was sort of a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was sort of big brotherish.
And the age gap's
almost like fathers.
The age gap 15 years?
It's about 15, yeah.
Yeah. Now you got an age gap of 5 years.
Yeah.
And
you're peers.
Right.
Yeah, you are literal peers. And so from that perspective, if you're looking for it to just be a game rather than bleep you, no bleep you, blah, 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 this might be the time. But I don't think – and it's always just the, obviously the small minority that are out of hand. But I don't think the out of hand stuff will be eliminated. The bright side is it could be much worse. To my knowledge, I don't think there's been literal fisticuffs in the stands. And you see that in every NFL stadium now. It's like on Sunday nights, Mondays.
Yeah, don't argue this.
Yeah.
Just go to social media. It's all confirmed.
Right.
And some of it, I don't want to say I get it and I understand it.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I know. But there's some of it that is more incredible to me than others. When I see 49er and Raider fans throwing punches in the stands wearing gear during a preseason game, I don't get it. But I got to say, it's SoFi when I see people fighting and nobody's wearing any gear. And I'm thinking, you didn't even have an NFL team. How much can you hate? I mean, are you literally going there looking for a fight?
No, you're going there looking to get drunk. And then you get drunk.
And it's raining, and
it goes
leaking on
on
the stairs on concourse, and people are slipping and falling. And it was the most bizarre thing you could ever see. I watched it in fascination. It's just,
I've watched it firsthand.
The dome leaks, and you people are swinging at people I don't think you even know, just walking down the concourse wanting to get in. It was weird. Yeah. So, yes, it could be worse.
Now, there might be, maybe I'm unaware of it, and that very well could be the case. But I don't think there's been much physicality, so to speak, one with another in a fan situation.
Thrown phones a few years ago. Once upon a time, a fan jumping out to get beat by a cheerleader. Those would be the ones I remember. And maybe there's been more I don't know about.
But not brawls in the stands. So there's something to be said for that. But there'll always be a level of animosity, and it'll be always over the top. I don't think we'll see what they call suspenders boy that Jake Scott and I literally witnessed at like 5 yards away. We happened to be standing there when that dude was just coming at Bronco. I don't think you'll see a Utah fan come at Kalani because I think as time goes on, like these new batch of Utah students don't remember Kalani was there for many, many years and gave his heart and soul to the program.
Maybe they will be told by their elders, but you're right, they won't remember it.
And I don't know how anybody could go up to Scalley. That's what's going to be fascinating to me, to see Scalley's game demeanor. How's he going to handle that? There's been a lot of off-season stuff about him being a disciple of Jesus and interjecting religion and all that stuff, and that's the way he wants to live his life. I mean, that's Obviously, his call on no, I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. But I'm wondering what his sideline demeanor is going to be. Are you going to work the refs? Are you going to do it passionately? Like Kalani, the one year got a personal foul on the stupid, crazy targeting call. I don't know how those guys don't get 10 personal fouls a game myself. Because they just have so much at stake and it's so emotional to try to keep your cool. That means that you have to restrain yourself. How's he going to be? Because he hasn't had to be the top guy responsible from everyone. And I told him this story when we were interviewing him a couple days ago. I can remember we were in the stadium and they were having a scrimmage, and I always say in those days, which is not that long ago, that you could go and watch it. And you'd stand on the sideline. And so something happened to his defense. And you have to yell because you're on the sideline and they're 25, 30, 40 yards away.
The other side of the field is 53 yards away, right?
Yeah.
And if you're standing at a 35-yard line and something happens, you might be yelling 60 yards downfield and 40 yards across the field.
Plus, there's all sorts of noise going on.
And you and I are both a little touchy about this because we have both been reprimanded harshly. Like, I'm not yelling because I'm mad. I'm yelling to be heard over the wind.
Yeah.
It's a long way away.
Right.
Yes, but other people don't get that.
One time, he yelled that at somebody on the opposite side, and he came out on the field a little bit, and he was irate. And it wasn't his style. He was doing it, and I swear you could hear a pin drop. Ooh, Scalley is really mad.
I know.
This is unusual.
Yep.
And you also have a little bit of an echo because there's people there, but large majority
Not very
of the
many people.
Yeah.
It's mostly concrete,
Right.
and the stadium sounds very different empty than it does full.
Right.
Voices carry in that empty stadium to a shocking degree.
And I can remember it got really silent because, wow, Scalley was mad. Now, that he's got a legitimate, he probably told somebody something 3 times, and the 4th time they did it wrong again, and he lost it. Right? And so he went and he really yelled loud. And so I wonder how it's going to be, what his demeanor is going to be on the sideline. That's something I want to watch to see, and how he handles the difficult times that will come. Or even they concocted, Saban with 5 minutes to go up 25 would go nuts.
He was making a point.
Yeah.
He loved to be detail-oriented to a fault, and it paid off for him. Drove people nuts.
So that's going to be just something that right from the very first game, and I think they play, Idaho in the first game or something. And so they're probably not going to be, tested. Arkansas 2-10, probably not. But obviously once they get into conference, there's going to be games that are going to come down to the wire and the ball's going to bounce against you. Or a call is not going to be something that you agree with, blah, blah, blah. How do you handle that? I thought Kyle got better as that went on, but there were times, obviously, he smacked down the chair in the BYU game a couple years ago in the post game. And then there was one, remember that game, the conference title game in the 49ers Stadium, the first one against Washington? And they were struggling. They were a backup quarterback, that one kid, I can't even remember his name, who ended up going up to Utah State for a bit. And if I remember, the score was like 10-3. Something along those lines. And, I mean, their field goal kicker for Washington sucked, and Peterson wouldn't even try it.
Yep.
And so the game ended on a clear non-pass interference call. And somebody in
the Utes had the ball. Washington committed PI. The refs didn't flag it. It would have put the ball down like the 25 or something like that.
And first down, blah, blah. You never know what would have happened.
Nope.
But that's how the game ended, essentially. Yeah. Right, and it was clear the kid hit
the
receiver. It might have been Nakua.
And it was 3 hours of frustration in front of that.
Big time.
Covey had gotten hurt, I think, in that game.
Oh, yeah, he blew out his knee
and came out, and there was so many frustrations.
I was chucking stuff in a press box.
The touchdown was on a deflected pass. Yeah. The receiver slipped and fell, and the ball popped in the air, and defender got a gimme touchdown.
It was just a downer of a game.
It was bad, ugly, totally winnable for both teams, and they just, neither one could grab it.
Right, and so it ends like that, and somebody asks him about that call something along the lines of, would you think that was pass interference? And did you see the play?
I did.
He just bit the kid's head off, the questioner.
Yeah.
But it's an emotional thing, so you get that. It wasn't personal, it's just that he was still fired up because he went right after the ref after that game too, as he should. They lost an opportunity to go to Rose Bowl.
Yep.
Then they end up winning 2 more to go to the Rose Bowl.
Didn't know that at the time.
Yeah,
the
you don't
first
know
one
that
would
at
have
the
been
time.
special, and it was right there for the taking.
Yeah.
They had a really good team.
Yeah, because they went 2-2 in Pac-12 title games. I think they lost the next year to Oregon. And Justin Herbert, obviously really good. And then they came back and got SC in Oregon themselves. So, but yeah, that's how he handles everything in moments of crisis, because everybody's going to be looking at him. I don't have any problem when they get emotional, but you can't get too emotional and you can't get over the top because you got to set the tone for your guys.
Yep. So he's got to figure it all out. And you can't really figure it all out. Some of it will just happen.
Right.
The call happens, and then you feel how you feel, and you say what you say, and you wave your arms the way you wave your arms. This is the way it goes.
And you got to work the refs to a degree. It's required.
If you don't, the other guy does, there's a decent chance the other guy will get more good calls.
Yeah, but you don't want to obsess about it, but you got to work it. It's that line.
Well, we're a month and a half away now.
Yeah, I'm excited for this season. I say this every year, obviously, but I'm super excited for this season.
Well, there's always new storylines, and this year, BYU being either, well, depending on the person you're talking to, they're either a favorite or the favorite. And the Utes have high expectations and a brand new coach for the first time in 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we can get into that. How has it gone for first-time coaches? And everyone will say, well, remember, and first-time coaches are all over the map. You don't know. There's just no telling. We can get to that next. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary. You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
Nobody brings you better coverage of the teams you're passionate about than these guys.
Try some more.
This is DJ and PK on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The KSL Sports Zone and Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the Youth Sports Volunteer for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest. Talking a little college football this morning. Morgan Scalley. Anything can happen at the U. Are people hitting you up in the neighborhood for predictions? The Ute fans around the corner? What's it going to be?
I don't talk to anybody in my neighborhood anymore.
Really? You froze them all out? What happened?
They don't like me.
There's
some issues.
They never liked you. They always tolerated you.
There's one guy I know he's listening, hasn't talked to me since March.
Why? What happened?
Oh, I can't get into it. It's nasty. Very
really?
nasty. Yeah.
Somebody didn't clean up the dandelions and they spread into somebody else's yard and now there's hard feelings?
Oh, don't get me started.
Okay. I knew it was gardening. It's always at the root of the neighborhood problems. Utes are going to be picked third or fourth in all these preseason things that have either come out or are about to. I think that's going to be pretty consistent. I think there'll be a few exceptions, but that is going to be the heart of where they lie.
There'll be no exceptions. They're not going to be picked fifth.
Oh, sure they are.
No way. No way.
Okay, well, I just got to find one for you now. The quest is on. I have something to do during the next break.
You can look all you want. It's a question of second or third, maybe fourth with Houston. But there's just not any lower than that. No, absolutely not. I refuse to acknowledge it. In fact, even if you find it, I won't even.
You'll totally ignore it?
Yeah. Well, he's a jackwad who did that.
Jackwad.
Yeah. No, not when you got Dampier coming back. I just don't see it. To me, it's not possible. And we're just talking preseason predictions. We're not talking about I'm guaranteeing that they. No,
we're talking about what people are going to say preseason predictions.
That's because that's all two different things there as far as that goes. But I think any combination of the two locals and Houston. Or did I say Houston?
Texas Tech.
Texas Tech. And the thing about it here, Texas Tech, they got a lot of Sun Devil in them. Okay, they win 10 games. Willie Fritz is a good interview. Everybody likes him. So Baylor win, 1 score. UCF, 3 points. Arizona State, 1 score. Oklahoma State, everybody kicked the crap out of them. Oregon State, overtime. See where I'm going there? It's tough to repeat that.
Yep.
All those 1-score wins,
they
overtime
have
wins.
Yeah, they have a way. That kind of stuff evens out over time. You have one group, and they've got the leadership, and they get the confidence and get on a roll, and they pull it off. They got the beat. Thank you, Belinda. But then the next group doesn't have the leadership, drops a close one, and yes. And you see it everywhere. You see it in high school, you see it in college, you see it in the pros. Happened to the Chiefs the last couple of years. 2 years ago, they won all the close games. Last year, just completely unraveled. Couldn't win any of them.
Houston is the new ASU.
The Hammer, John Wilner, Utah, 7th.
He doesn't cover the conference.
This is not a misprint. It's also our most pessimistic outlook for the Utes since the mid-2010s.
He doesn't cover the conference. He's upset that the Pac-12 isn't around anymore. Of course. He would pick that.
He went BYU 1, Houston 2, Texas Tech 3, with Sorsby out.
Yeah, see, Houston. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, Houston's coming off a 10-3 season. I totally get why they'd be picked, and they got a lot of key people back. So
yeah, but did you just hear what I just said? All those close wins?
Games. And
it's not going to work out that way.
And they had a break in the schedule away to 10-3.
Houston will be a disappointment this year.
Give me a defined disappointment. 7 wins or worse.
One which you are not happy with the results.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, you
7 wins.
You said
in
define.
relation to Houston football. Thank you.
You said define what disappointment means.
For Houston.
And I defined what disappointment means.
Before I finished my sentence, because you interrupted me again.
You sat back. You sat back, and then you got mad,
when I laughed.
and then you moved up.
I sat back when I laughed.
Roll back the tape. We got it right there.
It was implied. 7 wins, 8 wins.
7 or 8, sure. That'll be a disappointment. If you're picked second, that's a disappointment. Yeah.
But the Hammer picks him second, and he doesn't cover the conference because he's heard about the Pac-12.
I agree.
Even when they reconstituted, nothing.
And
nothing for the Bay Area.
Where did he pick Arizona?
Let's see. BYU 1, Houston 2, Tech 3, Oklahoma State 4, Arizona 5.
Yeah, that's low.
He's got ASU 6 and Utah 7. TCU rounds out the top half at number 8.
And where's he got Colorado?
15.
Right.
Speaking of downward trajectories.
The 4 who left, the highest he's got him is 5. And he loves the Cougars because Cougar fans engage with him.
Clicks. I'm relevant.
Now, when I say he loves the Cougars, that's not necessarily I love pumping them. I love writing about them. Because they will engage, good or bad.
5, 6, 7, 15. Look at what he does.
They are passionate, and a good portion of them are sensitive if you say something negative. Yep. You hate us, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. I easily discounted that. Come on, give me somebody who actually went to a conference game, went to one media day, not some guy in San Jose who's just living in the past. And his foundation was ripped, and he's mad just as mad as I am. I understand his anger.
When we come back, PK and Jake Scott had a beef at the Star in Dallas. And PK ran it by me, and it turns out I agree with PK. And PK's like, well, get Jake on. Look at you getting the two of us to battle. Good work.
No, but you know me. I get all passionate. You will be more rational, and maybe you could talk sense into him.
What was I going to say to him? I said something earlier, and it made you laugh. And I knew I had to say it to you because I can't remember. I wasn't going to open with what's wrong with you. What was I going to open with?
I think.
What are you thinking?
Are you the stupidest guy we've ever had on air? Something along those lines.
All right, that's next. DJ and PK, stay with us.